Philadelphia Eagles made an interesting move on Thursday afternoon, bringing back a familiar face, and luckily for all of our sanity, it wasn't Nate Gary off of IR. Instead, I'm talking about running back Jordan Howard, who of course had a bit of a down year in Miami, but left a lasting impression on just about everyone in the city of brotherly love. So what does this move mean for the team? What's the upside here? Should the Eagles have even bothered to bring back someone who struggled as much as he did this year? My name is Liam Jenkins, and we're going to dive into exactly that. Before we get into it though, guys, as always, if you do enjoy this video and you're excited to see Jordan Howard back in Philadelphia, make sure you leave a like. And if you're not part of our Eagles group chat already, we've nearly got 600 Eagles fans. We're giving away cash prizes, there'll be jersey giveaways as the season goes on, and plenty of new ways to bring you guys together and have some fun. It is absolutely free to join. It takes 2 seconds, so make sure you download it using the link in the description. PSN Eagles Nation on the Flick Sports group app, and let me know what you think about the Jordan Howard move. So let's start with the most pressing question, the one on everyone's lips, and that is that why are the Eagles using no, not that. Why did Miami release Jordan Howard in the first place? I mean, they did sign him to a lofty 2-year, $9.75 million extension, and who could blame them, really? He had an explosive 8 games in Philadelphia, averaged a career-high yards per carry prior to the injury, and he ended up with a shortened season where he had 525 yards and 69 receiving yards, along with 7 total touchdowns. 3 of them came in that brilliant game against Green Bay. That may be the best football I've seen Jordan Howard play. But then he goes to Miami, has this new contract, and something just isn't right. He ended up with 32 yards on 28 carries. That's really, really bad. In fact, his best game, where he had 19 of those yards, he still only averaged 1.9 yards per carry, and that was against Arizona. So when you've got a backfield of guys like Matt Breida and Myles Gaskin, and the Dolphins make a couple of moves, all of those backs, it's not hard for them to do much better than that. So the Dolphins were just very quickly to turn around and say, okay, well, we're not going to invest in someone that clearly isn't producing. He's still 26 years old. There's upside there, but with the Miami Dolphins moving the way they are, you don't want to have a run game that's stagnating. You need to lean on it a little bit and take that pressure off Tua. That's not going to happen with Jordan Howard going backwards all the time. The reason why he was struggling there was just that he did genuinely look a step slower, and I can't tell if this stems from the injury. Of course, he did go into that Seattle playoff game for the Eagles and really not make much noise whatsoever, so maybe there is a lingering injury problem there. Maybe he's just lost a step and lost part of that burst. The vision still seems to be there. The problem is just really getting into the hole, and the Miami offensive line isn't the greatest in the world. It's certainly improved from what it once was, but when you've got Jordan Howard, who is a decisive north-south runner, but maybe doesn't quite have that burst through the hole that he once did, by the time he gets to the hole that may be blocked by the offensive line, he doesn't have that initial explosive step to get through. Now, with the Eagles' zonal scheme, where they go very laterally and left to right, it may give him the opportunity to patiently wait for a bigger hole, cut back, and work with more open space. If you're a slower player, the more open space you can have, the better, and that may actually bode well for him here. Now, he did sign to the practice squad, which means that he's not technically going to be on the roster just yet, but as we know this year, the team can actually move players up and down very freely and protect them depending on who's performing well and who's not, to avoid losing them to further waivers. So if Jordan Howard does move up and break out, likely what would happen is that Jason Huntley would be the guy taking the fall, and he would maintain a spot on that final 53. It's also worth noting though that Corey Clement has been placed on the COVID list, so there is going to be a vacated spot in that backfield, one that Howard is going to slip very snugly into. Another area where Jordan Howard thrives is pass protection, and it's an area where the Eagles have struggled massively all year, from their running backs and their offensive line. In fact, Boston Scott ranks 48th and Miles Sanders ranks 56th. That is not good. Now, Miles Sanders did improve as a rookie. He had a little bit of concern in the area coming out of college, but had some necessary pop and a want to embrace contact, where he did show that progression. However, in year 2, there has been so many miscommunications, running backs failing to pick up the blitz, which have led to Carson Wentz being absolutely clarted, which isn't good. So Jordan Howard is a big, beefy back. He's got a strong, firm base, embraces contact well, holds his own, and is happy to go and meet defenders in the hole at the line of scrimmage. If nothing else, this should buy him more time. This should buy Carson Wentz more time in the pocket, and on top of that, Howard's already familiar with the backfield. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be able to come in and pick up exactly where he left off, but there's certainly going to be a shorter transition time once he's called up to that 53-man roster. We could see him in action, I reckon, within the next couple of weeks, which is perfect for that long December sled. We know we've got Seattle coming up, a team who have got a weak defense where someone like Jordan Howard could well thrive. Unfortunately, there are also a flurry of teams who rank inside the top 10 in run defense where Jordan Howard's extra push, extra bulk and strength at the goal line could well be the difference between a touchdown and another failed attempt on 4th down with Jalen Hurts, which we will try not to get too many flashbacks about. So the Eagles went into this offseason, they let Jordan Howard go. They didn't want to spend more than a veteran's minimum on a replacement running back. They let guys like Carlos Hyde sign elsewhere. They didn't try to bring in those free agents. There were mild discussions with a few names. No one was really interested in signing in a reserve role on a veteran's minimum when they can do more. Howard has played himself back out of that stonky contract, has played himself back out of a key role into the clutches of Howie Roseman. Now, is this going to be a move that saves the season? Probably not. Is it going to be one that pays dividends? Hopefully, and I think that Howard still has a lot of potential. We forget how good he was back in his Chicago days, and of course dating back to that season in Philadelphia. We can't really base how we view Howard off that Miami season alone. If we do, I mean, it could well be a Jay Ajayi situation, but we've been there before, and there's still some value to be had for literally no money whatsoever. So worst case scenario, he gets waived in a few weeks. Best case scenario, the Eagles can lean on their running backs a bit more. They realise they've made a mistake, and they bring back what was missing all along. That thunder, that lightning combination to really keep defenses honest and finally open up the play action game for those wide receivers. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about the move? I cannot wait to hear your opinions. Hopefully I'll see some of you in our Eagles group chat over on Flick Sports. From myself, Liam Jenkins, I'll see you soon.